Welcome back to my walkthrough for Final Fantasy IX, my friends. We are getting very close to the end of the game and I'm about to enter the last area. Before we step inside Memoria, we need to do a few preparations, make sure that most of your characters are protected against wind and water magic, depending on who you take for this first boss battle. Ribbons are very effective because they nullify both wind and water magic, and you can also give your party members a circlet which will reduce the damage of wind magic by 100%. It's always recommended that you have auto haste and auto regen because that will just make your characters pretty much indestructible, since they will keep regaining their health very quickly. And even though it's not necessary for this boss battle, make sure that you have the antibody and the body temp abilities equipped, because they will come in handy when you step inside Memoria. So without further ado, let's get inside the Invincible and let's head inside the Ancient Tree. And there's going to be an epic cutscene, but afterwards it's boss battle time. Okay guys, here we go with the boss battle. We're going to battle Nova Dragon. He has a lot of wind based attacks and he will also use a water based attack called Tidal Wave, which delivers heavy damage, but if you have ribbons equipped then you have nothing to fear. Whenever you hit him with a physical attack, he will counter with an attack of his own. But aside from that, he really isn't that tough. Eiko Zoli is incredibly powerful, so I recommend that you use it here to deliver heavy damage. And obviously, if you have Freya, you can also deliver the maximum amount of damage. Same thing goes for Steiner and Quina. It really doesn't matter who you pick. this fight shouldn't take too long. With Dragon's Crest, Freya can deliver 9,999 damage, depending on the amount of dragons that you've defeated during the game. But since I've battled so many Grand Dragons, it really makes things easier for me. I think you need to defeat 100 of them in order for Freya to deliver the maximum amount of damage with Dragon's Crest. As for Amarant, he can just use No Mercy. Have Zidane steal, even though it's kind of pointless to steal at this point in the game, because most of the rewards that you'll get at this stage in the game don't really matter. But there is a small chance that you might get a Grand Armor from the Nova Dragon, but I'm honestly not worried about obtaining said item. So even though I'm attempting to steal items from him, whenever the fight ends, it will end. At this point, a couple more attacks should do it. And you can also put the Nova Dragon to sleep. You can use Queen's Knight or the Sleep Magic. I didn't bother to do it because, as you can see, we're protected against most of its attacks, so we're all good. In fact, this attack should be enough to finish it off. There we go. And since he wasn't hit with a physical attack, he won't counter before dying. But that's the first boss defeated, but there's still a lot of them left. In fact, in this final area we will battle a lot of bosses, but most of them are really simple. At this point in the game you should be fairly well protected against most of them. But remember, have the body temp ability equipped as you step inside Memoria, and the antibody ability equipped as well, because there's one monster that likes to use Venom Breath in Memoria, and you don't want to deal with that. And the next boss that we're going to face, Maliris, likes to use Mustard Bomb, which can inflict the hit status on your party. But if you have the body temp ability equipped, then you will be fine. I will let you know that while you're advancing inside Memoria, every once in a while, usually after you defeat a certain boss, if you go back to Lindblom and you talk with the Banero brothers or the Zanero brothers, whatever their name is, if you keep going back multiple times, you can get a Protect Ring. I think it's a Protect Ring by doing that quest, but I'm not going to bother with it because it completely disrupts the ending of the game, and I don't feel like traveling back and forth all the time. So we're just going to move forward, and we can obtain new weapons for most of our party members inside Memoria, but they are not better than the weapons that we already have, so we don't really need them, but I will still show the location of said weapons. So that's what we're going to do. For now, I'm going to keep the current party that I have. In this final area, just like with any other Final Fantasy game, I like to use all of the characters. I don't like to leave anyone behind. So I will keep alternating between them so that everyone gets a chance to fight. First, we're going to get a new weapon for Freya, even though we don't really need it. Kane's Lance, and that's a reference to a Final Fantasy character, I believe, Final Fantasy IV. But don't bother equipping it because it's not as good as Freya's ultimate weapon. So I guess he said that we'd run away, but we're actually not going to do it, so we're going to challenge him. In Memoria there are 5 card players which you can challenge. All of them have very powerful cards that you will need to obtain them in order to complete your collection. And they're fairly hard to defeat, because like I said, they have very good cards, but we'll manage. I don't think a lot of people bother with Tetra Master. Before you move on ahead, make sure you pick up the tower, another weapon for Zidane. But it's still inferior to Zidane's ultimate weapon, or ultima weapon. And now we're going to have the boss battle against Maliris, which starts automatically as you step through that area. If you finish off Maliris with a physical attack, it will use an attack which delivers heavy damage to all of your party members. So it's better to try and finish Maliris off with a magical attack, but I think all of my party members are powerful enough to survive anyway. Since we have body temp equipped, I'm really not all that worried with mustard bomb because it won't do anything. So aside from that, we just need to keep delivering damage and we'll be just fine. Again, I'm going to have Zidane steal, but at this point in the game it's really not necessary, so if you just want to have Zidane attack as well so that you can speed up this battle a little bit, then by all means do so. Maliris sometimes will cast Reflect on herself, but that's why I have Echo with the Reflect null ability, so that even if we use magic against Maliris, even if she has Reflect on, she will still get hit with the magic attack. Echo's quite the powerhouse against all of these bosses because her holy magic will always deliver heavy damage, as you can see. And I forgot that in order for you to, when you use revive, it will cast auto live on one of your party members, but you actually need to have that party member knocked out, so that was a waste. Anyway, it doesn't matter because we will finish off Maliris soon. I was just a little bit worried that Amaranth might not be able to survive Maliris' ultimate attack, but I think he will be just fine. I wanted to have Echo finish her off with Holy, but I thought that she had a little bit more health at this point, so I thought that she would survive that Dragon Crest attack, but I guess she didn't. But that's okay because we're all good. Our defenses are very good thanks to our equipment, so everyone got out alive from that encounter. And as you can see, the fight really wasn't that hard. So now we can keep going. Our next opponent will be Tiamat, but first we need to witness another little cutscene. It's like they were watching a movie screen. But before we move on ahead, we're going to pick up a new weapon for Eiko, the Angel Flute, which she doesn't really need at this point. And I'm going to switch my party members here, because like I said, I want to use all of my party members. Honestly, I could just stick with the same party that I had before and I would be just fine. But since you can't use everyone in the final battle of the game, I just want to make sure that everyone gets their moment. So I'm going to put Vivian Steiner in the party alongside Queen, since it was Vivian Steiner who battled Tiamat in the shrine way earlier in the game. So it's appropriate that they battle Tiamat once again. But before we move on ahead, we're going to face another card player, the Defense Phantom. And I am going to challenge him after all. I just like to decline the first challenge because it's always hilarious, the little pot shots that they take at Zidane for not wanting to challenge them. I wonder if this could mean that Zidane was inside the Invincible when the destruction of Dagger's hometown happened. It would make sense, even though apparently, since all of their origins can be traced to the same entity essentially, because if you go all the way back, I guess we all have the same ancestors. I guess that's the logic here, and that's why they can see each other's memories, but they'll explain it a little bit further on. So they're starting to explain that, I guess. But then again, that wouldn't explain why Quina couldn't see the destruction of Alexandria. Anyway, after we step up the steps, we are going to have the next boss battle. Once again, make sure that your characters are protected against wind magic, because Tiamat likes to use wind element attacks, and it can be very annoying because he can absorb magic and strength, and that will make your characters weaker. Plus, he can blow some of the party members away from battle. And I don't know if he blows all of them away. I don't even know if he can do that, but if he removes all of the party members from battle, it might be game over. So it's a good idea to finish him off quickly, and by doing that, then the fight will be a lot easier. And Queen has so many slots available, I might as well give her a few more abilities for when we have the next boss battle, which is an optional boss battle. But let's move forward, and here we go. So we're going to use Flare on Tiamat, it delivers heavy damage. Steiner can use Shock, which will deliver 9,999 damage. Quina can use Frog Drop, and Zidane, you can have him steal, even though it's not like Tiamat has any good items, and especially at this point, if you've been following my walkthrough, none of these guys have anything that you actually need. So if you want to simply have Zidane attack as well, then again, feel free to do so, because it's not like you need any of the items that Tiamat has. And by the way, if you are wondering why Quina and Zidane have a higher level than the remaining party members, it's due to the fact that in order to speed up the leveling up process, even though it really wasn't necessary, but in order to speed it up, whenever I battled Grand Dragons, I always had Quina use level 5 death to speed up the battle, and I just kept alternating party members aside from Quina and Zidane. Obviously you can't remove Zidane from the party up until this point in the game, because once you step inside Memoria, if you want, you don't need to have Zidane in your party, and since Quina was using level 5 death, I had to keep Quina in the party as well. So that's why there's a fairly big level difference between Quina, Zidane and the remaining party members. And there we go, Tiamat is down. So that's the third boss, but we still have 3 more bosses left to go. One of them is optional, the other 2 are mandatory. And we can also face another card player, or tetra master player. It's right here in the corner, so let's challenge him or her. So the first attempt to assimilate Terra and Gaia failed, and apparently that led to the destruction of the remaining Terra citizens. And here we have an Iron Giant. It is a new opponent. I don't think I faced one before, or I haven't shown a battle against one before in my walkthrough, but they deliver heavy damage with physical attacks, but it's nothing that a frog drop followed by a shock won't fix, even though they do have a lot of health. As per usual, I never get the chance to use trance mode in any single fight. And that's going to be it for this segment, my friends. In the next segment I'm going to battle Hades, the optional boss. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this segment, and I will be back later for the next part. Take care.